Everyone, how are you? Another chat, another day that we are all blessed to see. Some of us are not able to see another one. And hopefully, many of you are fully aware of what is happening in this interesting time that we're living in. And yeah, it's weird. There's no other way. It's not even weird. It's disheartening. It's disgusting. Whatever you want to use, it words you want to use to describe it. I guess this platform is definitely an opportunity for any young person that's out there and they're looking to hear and see individuals doing things in their community that are positive and uplifting, because we need that right now more than ever. So the young man that I am going to have a conversation, an Educhat with, is someone that I definitely respect to the maximum of Maximus. It has nothing to do with him playing sport for a professional career. He's just a real solid human. Yes, maybe you're from man and behave yourself. Just because my beard looks rough, yeah, don't leave me alone. Coach YC. But yeah, looking forward to having this edu chat with Shep, and we're just waiting for him to hop on. He is, I like to call, a pro that is now a pro. He played professional basketball, which he will talk about, and now he is a professional real estate agent. So we're just waiting for him to hop on. If you have any comments, criticisms, you're more than welcome to pipe them up, except for you, YC, about asking me if I bid you be it from on in. Run Yamo. Hey, Trin, what's up? I'm getting weak. Can't even open my own. Can't even open my own protein shake. All right, so like I said, we're just waiting for Jevohn Shepherd. He is to be tuning in shortly. I will reach out to him and just remind him that we're doing this, and he already knows. But he's a young father, so hopefully his baby boy is cooperating and allowing him to get on here. I know, eh? He's bored, that's why. He needs someone. He needs some players to coach. What's good, Sham? Where is Shep? Let's go. Here he is. Here he comes. Let's get him in here. Yes, thank you. Respect. Always love it. Love the respect. Love the appreciation.
Brother,
Yes, I.
what's going on?
I'm good, man.
Let me get
How are
this
you?
set up right.
It's all good.
Day by day, boss. That's all we can do, right? Just stay inside, stay healthy, stay
Yeah,
positive.
for sure.
What's going on your way?
Trying to do the same. Growing out this thing on my face and this thing
I
on my
see.
head.
I see.
Yo, this is the true COVID look right now.
That's what everybody has going on.
No, but the respectable mans like you don't. You have a shaver at home, obviously.
I figure it out. I make it happen. I make it happen. I can't be walking through clients looking like a hot mess, right?
No, you can't. You can't. You can't.
Presentation's everything.
Especially with your job, 100%. And
Presentation's everything. First impressions, you only get one chance at those.
for sure, for sure. And we'll definitely dive into that topic because before you hopped on, I was just saying, and even with my post for this morning, the impression, the imagery that really needs to be put forth in this time with what's going on with that most recent story of senseless violence against a black man. We really need to continue to show positive young people like yourself in the community doing great things. And the timing of this conversation couldn't be any better. So I want you to just open up and introduce everyone to who you are, what you do, and let's go.
Okay. Well, for anybody out there that doesn't really know me, I'm Jevohn Shepherd. Some of you guys may know me from basketball. I've obviously played basketball here in Toronto. I played professionally. I played for the Canadian national team for some years, and I've been currently I'm a real estate agent. I've been in real estate investing silently for a number of years. I actually had a coach, Leo Routens, who was actually the one that advised us always when we're playing to invest in real estate. And over that time, I just gained a passion for it. And then, it just snowballed from there. And then I was like,
Yeah.
hey, you know what? doing a lot of this stuff for myself, but then I had a lot of friends and family that started to, you know, ask opinions and stuff like that. And I realized I'm doing a job here, like helping people that I would be, I enjoy this. I can combine both my passions, helping people and the same stuff I'd be doing for myself, just making the best investments and creating some opportunity. You know, and that started to that just rolled over. So then I took heed to that, got licensed a while ago, and then it's you know, it's been good ever since.
Awesome. We actually need to send out our condolences to Leo Routen's. Actually, his mom passed away. So I hit up Andy this morning actually just to say respect, and hopefully everyone's doing well. But yeah, that's definitely an unfortunate situation, especially seeing how they couldn't even go to her because of the fact of what's going on. So it's a tough situation right now that everybody is dealing with on different levels. Last week, I actually had Big Mike on here, and I have a top 5 of guys that I absolutely love, and both of you guys are in it in terms of the OGs of basketball. And I asked him a question.
OGs and O-knees.
so true. But I asked him this question, and I want to ask you the same one. If you were playing now in this time with the resources that you have in terms of social media and whatnot, how different do you think your path in basketball, even in your life in general, would be?
You know what? There's two sides to it, because I would have obviously had a lot more exposure. Maybe I would have had some other opportunities. Maybe I would have, who's to say? Maybe, you know, I'd be somebody that'll be in the NBA. But then on the same token, I'm also grateful for the era that I did come up in, because I think I was able to be a bit more grounded, have a bit more foundation. I think it's easy to get with so much social media right now, and you know, all these kids are bombarded with this. You can get separated from reality.
Yes.
I think that for me was the gift, and that I was able to, you know, just be able to experience new things, get new culture, absorb everything that was around me, and you know, redefine who I was and find who I am. Whereas a lot of these kids I see, you know, they're kind of living a false reality. So there's two sides to it, right? And I think if I had been in this era, I probably also wouldn't have landed in the position I am now, where I'm able to, you know, to share my knowledge and just even from a real estate standpoint, I would have never been grounded enough to understand, you know what, basketball ends. Figure out something else, identify something else that because a lot of these kids are they're stars in their mind, right? They're stars through social media. At a very, very young age, right? And there's, for me, basketball was life at the time, and then for them, basketball is life. There's nothing. This is what they see. This is who they are. This is who they identify themselves with. So I think that I definitely have to say is a gift in the era that I came up in.
No, man, like you touched on something that's really powerful, and one of the main reasons why I'm doing this, Shep, to be honest with you, there's two of them actually. One is I love working with student athletes. I love working with young men and women that look like us. And I'm always trying to encourage and empower them to think beyond sport. So it's not just them trying to go league, because at the end of the day, there's a very small percentage of athletes that are going to go there. So you have to be a professional in something. So obviously with the COVID situation, the office getting shut down, I won't lie to you, I had a good 2 to 3 weeks where I was just in a rough shape, where I didn't know where I was, what I was doing, just in a bad, negative space. And I had to pull myself out of it. And these chats is one of them. And also working with the kids is another one, because I was like, I can't let them see me like this. Like, you know what I mean? I'm supposed to be encouraging them to do stuff like this. So getting guys like yourself and other professionals who look like them and having them talk about their journey is super important, because it's not that we may had mistakes or anything bad happen, but I want you to just talk about some difficult times that you had going pro, and when you were in college, and what college you went to, and all that good stuff.
Okay. Well, there was definitely a lot of tough times. I left Toronto as, you know, one of the top players, if not the top player in the country. And then I went to Michigan, and you know, I don't want to say failed in a sense, but it was a culture shock for me. Like I went there and I expected to be the man. I wasn't the man. What's it saying? A big fish in a small fish in a big pond.
Small fish in a big pond. Yeah.
Right. And that was a reality check for me. In my head, I was the guy. I was going there. I was going to do 1 year, go to the NBA. Okay, 2 years went by. Oh, boom.
Yeah.
I'm still there. 3 years went by. Boom. 4 years go by. Boom. I'm still there. Even on that senior year draft night, I still remember that shot, that feeling when all those names got called. And the reality was I never had that type of career. And then no name gets called. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what to do after. I was like, hold on, I was supposed to play basketball forever.
Yeah.
And again, a gift and a curse was the fact that going into it, I had a hell of an entourage. Like I was the guy. Everybody, whatever the case may be. Over that process, people start to fall by the wayside, and then I felt like it helped me because now I had my core group, my core family, my core friends, and the friends that I speak of, I don't even call them friends. Those are my family. Those are my brothers, my sisters. And
for sure.
So at that point, I really had to refine who I was and re-identify who I was. It was a tough time, but it was a great experience because it brought me to who I am today. And even through that, I still knew I wanted to play professionally just to even get that experience. And I think the biggest thing I learned from that whole experience was relationships. Relationships are big because at that point, it was really, how people knew me, the rapport I had with some people that have already done it and have made that, and could speak on behalf of me, right? Because I obviously didn't have the body of work to jump into the professional ranks at that point, and that's being just completely transparent. Like a lot of people may see what I've accomplished now and think, no, you hadn't made. No, there was times where, like, no, I'm filling out an application to go get a job right out of college. And that wasn't the expectation that was set for me. So how'd
that make you feel?
I was low. I don't like throwing out depression because it's very sensitive, right? And I don't think I definitely didn't go through depression, but there was a point where I was depressed.
So clinical depression is a diagnosis. You had symptoms of depression or depression.
I didn't know at that point. You're young, you're tender, you still don't know who you are, you don't know what direction you're going. To me, I've never experienced anything but success with basketball. The only thing I knew was, putting in the body of work success at basketball. At that time, I actually didn't realize that you can reapply those same principles into life.
1,000%, right? Of course.
They're all transferable skills. At that point, I didn't acknowledge that. I didn't know that. Later on, even in my professional career, I could still speak on that. I was, at that point, I'm making good money. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to play forever. It's not.
Yes.
There's nights I woke up in cold sweats. Like, what am I going to do after? Again, I still didn't identify that as an athlete, you have transferable skills to the real world, right? And you have, a level of work ethic that many don't. Like, you're able to tap into that.
Yeah, and we're definitely I want you to get into that a little bit more, but you're so not biased, but you're so modest in the sense you're like, I went to Michigan. You went to the University of Michigan. Go Blue. Like, this is a big time school.
Right.
Talk to us about that process. Like, how did you go from West Hill to University of Michigan?
You know what? I have to credit. I went to junior high at Don Valley. Junior high at Don Mills and Don Mills and Finch area. And
okay.
I had a gym teacher, Miss Nardia, who had, paid for me. At that time, I'm coming from nothing. I'm not in the front. I really didn't have much. She paid for me to go. She seen something in me and paid for me to go to the Vince Carter camp at the time. I went there, performed. I bumped into Ro Russell, and he introduced me to Wayne Dawkins. And at that time, I didn't know much about basketball, period. I didn't know.
Seriously?
They were selling me on, my friends would laugh. I didn't watch much basketball. I didn't know much basketball at all. What? So they're telling me, like, come work out with this guy named Denham Brown. He's the #1 player in the country. I'm oblivious to everything. Like, I just
no way.
Like, I've never had no structured basketball because it just wasn't in the cards for me. We couldn't really afford to be in so I'm outside playing. I'm outside. And,
Yeah.
you know, thanks to that teacher, she got me to the camp, got connected with Ro Russell, got connected with Wayne Dawkins, ended up going to West Hill Collegiate with, you know, some great guys that really taught me, you know, the game and how to, not only the game, but they showed me how to work hard. So, you know, a guy like Denham Brown, I owe him the world for that, because I was able to just see what it is, what work ethic is. Wayne Dawkins, like, he was tremendous. You know, one of my best friends right now, Kalen Anderson, like, these guys were the ones that really showed me what it is to work. And then from there, I just took it to another level. And then we, you know, I gotten some exposure, went on some AU trips, and, you know, at that point I'm very raw, I'm extremely raw. And I'll be honest with you, even up to grade 11, I was pretty bad. I was pretty bad.
Why do you? You're lucky there was no social media then.
No, I was pretty bad. Up to grade 11, I was pretty bad, and then it just clicked, and it was quick. But what clicked was all that work I had put in started. I was now figuring out and able to apply it. And I think you can even speak on this. My body came start to fill out, started coming to its own. And I had control over it now. So I'm starting to, you know, understand things and how my body works, how the game works, how to work, and apply it. So from there, you know, went on some AU trips, got a lot of exposure, and, you know, the buzz started to go. There's, you know, I'm starting to hear my name. And then some people may know in the basketball world may know George Raveling.
I remember him.
And Mark Bain. Again, a lot of things, you know, when you put in the work and when your mind is set on a certain goal, you attract a lot of positivity. And I think it all starts from the mind frame. So to me, okay, I know nothing about basketball. I just hear all these colleges, all this. My uncle used to watch college basketball. I know nothing about it. But I know that my uncle wants to go play professionally. My uncle wants to he actually wanted to go to Michigan. So I have all this in the back of my head, like, okay, my oldest people I look up to, they want to do this. Denham, he's going to, all these schools are coming to look at him. He's going to UConn. I'm seeing everybody excited about him, and I want that. What is that about? Okay, this is how you get that. Fast forward now, you know, Mark Bain, a good friend of mine, he's Mr. Nike.
Shout out Nike.
Shout out Nike, shout out Bain. You know, he took me under his wing as well, and, you know, brought George Raveling to watch one of my games here in Toronto. From there, I'm in the Nike Hoop Summit, and you know, I'm on a world stage at this point. And then from there, you know, scholarship signed. And even that process, I knew nothing about it. Like I went on an unofficial visit, and they just throw everything at you. They, you know, anything you want, anything you need, they pamper you, whatever the case may be. Mind you, at this point, I could basically choose any school I want to go to in America. So I walk onto campus.
Sorry, 1 second. One question. How old were you at the time? You remember?
18 or 19.
18 or 19.
18 or 19. My mother knows nothing about basketball.
I was about to ask, Mommy, what's Mommy saying about this right now?
She doesn't know. Like, she's also, you have nothing. We're coming into a world of bright lights. Like, they're throwing everything at you, and life looks amazing. I walk onto campus, and I walk around once. I look into the gym. We go to dinner. There's lobster, there's steak, there's shrimp, there's crab, there's everything. I just get up and say, okay, I'm going to come here.
Just like that.
Just like that. But again, didn't have any knowledge. I didn't look at this, depth chart. I didn't look at the style of play. Was it the best decision for me looking back? Probably not. But I learned a lot. And again, I think for any of the athletes, and this goes far beyond basketball, is supporting yourself and surrounding yourself with people that are knowledgeable in the areas that you want to get into, in the fields that you want to get into, because those are going to be your mentors. Those are going to be your advice. Those are going to be the direction for you, right? And that experience there allowed me to think a lot differently now on how I approach things, because I had the lack of foundation there when making that decision. I said, okay, when I approach real estate now, I'm going to make sure that my foundation is solid. Like the people in my core group, they have to be experts in the field, and I'm going to learn from experts. I'm going to watch what the experts do. And that's the path I'm going to take, as opposed to just walking in blindsided and say, okay, I'm just going to sell homes. No, it doesn't work like that. And
It doesn't work
where
like
I'm going
that.
to be, so that's why for me it started out as, okay, I'm selling myself the right people, and I'm going to invest. Then try and translate into where I am now. But again, yeah, that was the biggest thing. Is just biggest thing I learned was from those failures.
We'll quotation mark them.
Yeah,
because they're not true failures. They're a learning experience.
They're learning experience. Learning
Yeah.
experiences.
Yeah.
Was to really surround yourself with people of knowledge, people of experience, people that are like-minded, and people have done the things that you want to accomplish. And yeah, like that. Again, that's something that's also. And now, when you have your transferable skills, you combine those together. You have a recipe for success moving forward. Right?
Excellent.
I think.
No, man, like it's. I love the fact that you're bringing. It's so interesting, and I don't know how many of these you've watched me do with my colleagues within the healthcare field, but it is so fascinating to hear each of you guys speak about things that you're passionate about. But at the same time, you're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, number one, it's very important to communicate and have a good understanding of what it is that you're getting into. Number two, you need to love what you're doing. Number three, you learn from mistakes that you made. And again, quotation mark mistakes. Because I don't feel like any of what happened to you is a mistake. Because what would be a mistake is if you didn't talk about it. And you just went to your house.
And if you quit.
And that's it. And quit.
Yeah.
And like flat out quit. And not just physically quit, but quit mentally. Just don't do nothing. So I love the fact that you guys are all saying the same thing. And it's really, really amazing, specifically for the young people that are out there and for the parents that are listening right now. Wake your kid up if they're sleeping right now, because Jay, you're dropping bombs that they need to hear. And our parents sometimes,
you know what?
They say the same
experience.
thing.
Like I've walked that same path. So
exactly.
And I think, for me especially, I come from a different side of things where I've seen the kids. I've also been in a situation where I didn't accomplish what people expected, and then I lost a lot of friends and family and support along the way. Like that rug was pulled from right under me. So for me, when I look at youth that are coming up, I think, how can you really give yourself the best chance to be successful, as not only in your sport but in life, period. And that all stems from the foundation and building solid ground up, because sport is not always going to be there. And I thought I was going to do it forever. I'm not. That's just the reality. And I played at a very high level, right? So you really just have to surround yourself with the most knowledge. And it may not even be family. It's not always going to be family.
Doesn't have to be sometimes, right? On Wednesday, I had one of my favorite young student athletes on here. She was a young lady. She suffered a traumatic knee injury at a very young age. And part of my role with the team that I work with at J. Addison is providing them with not only sports injury management, but I've been really talking with the head coach, YC, about the fact that the psychological component of playing sport is super important. Like if we don't get them to understand that the way that they think, the way that they are responding to stress, and the stresses from social media to schoolwork, their parents, their academics, all of that is going to affect how they play on the court. Now throw in this COVID nonsense where everybody's in their house, lock up, can't go outside, can't have the same freedom. When you were playing, how much of the psychology of sport was exposed to you? Did you guys have access to a sports psychologist, a counselor? How talk to us about that.
You know what? It's funny you asked that, because we did. But again, I also went to University of Michigan. I also played for the Canadian national team. I also played for some very reputable professional teams in Europe. But what I found was the access to sports psychologists were there. They were there, but they were coming from a textbook approach. Whereas you know, if I sit down with a young boy right now, or
Yeah.
I'm coming from a place of experience, the
Mm-hmm.
textbook can't really teach you
Can
that.
do
The
that.
textbook doesn't.
Absolutely.
The textbook can't speak on, you know, how low I felt, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of different factors that contribute to that, right? Like how you feel when you're at your lowest and where you're at your highest may be different than how I am when I'm at my lowest or highest, just because we come from different places. You come from different
Yeah.
backgrounds. And there's different
Yeah.
contributors to that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no textbook for that. There's,
Yeah.
you know, when you're speaking to somebody from like experience, we're bouncing ideas off. We're sharing our stories together. Okay, this is why
Mm-hmm.
this affected me like this. This is why
Mm-hmm.
this affected you like that. You may be low, and it may come from I knew I was able to come from a single parent home. So my lows were, I'm used to having to, like, I gotta feel like I'm the man. Like I have to provide.
Yes.
I have
Yes.
to be.
Step up. Yeah.
I have to step up. So when I'm in a position that I can't step up, I feel worthless in a sense. You may come from your low may be a different reason.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So, and the textbook doesn't factor all that in. The textbook tells us, gives us techniques and ways to cope, breathe,
Mm-hmm.
meditate,
Yeah.
you know, things like that. But
These are all good things. They're
right,
all great things. But trying to explain that to someone who, like you said, is just feeling at their low, bro. I was there. I'm telling you,
and
I
you can't
had
even
not
identify.
looked.
Like some people don't even
That was
identify why
crazy.
they're at their low.
Exactly.
You have to be able to identify before we can understand what coping method is going to be, you know,
Yeah.
the most effective for me, the most effective for you. What's
Very,
it?
very good.
Yeah.
That's a very solid point, man. And I think what we're doing right now is exactly what needs to happen more in our community.
Mm-hmm.
And this wasn't supposed to go here. Like I wanted to talk, obviously, all about the great things that you're doing. We're going to do
We
it,
can go
of
everywhere.
course.
We can go everywhere.
You know what I'm saying?
We don't have nowhere to
But
go.
the thing, but the crazy and sad and angry thing right now that is consuming the world, besides the COVID nonsense, is that nastiness that happened in Georgia.
Yeah.
And I got to ask you a hard question. And I know where I stand on this. And my daughter is 10, and your son is less than a year.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to talk to him about shit like that? Because I didn't waste any time. Like I found out about this, unfortunately, on Thursday. It was the first time I heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter wasn't with me Thursday, so she came with me on Friday. So I was quiet. And she was like, Daddy, what's wrong? And I was wrestling with her, like, should I talk to her about this? No, maybe not. But then I said, you know what? As we were having dinner, I said, listen, I got to tell you something. And I told her, this is how I usually talk to her when I talk about race. I don't say black and I don't say white. I say the person looks like daddy, and then I say the person looks like your friend's dad. That's how I frame it.
Mm-hmm.
So I told her, I said, listen, the boy doing his thing, exercising, looks like daddy, running through a neighborhood, and these guys saw him, looked at him and thought that he was doing something wrong, and they pulled out a gun and shot him. Like, I don't even mince any words. Go right into it.
There's no way really to.
You can't. This situation, you cannot. How are you going to deal with that when he becomes older? What age? What's your strategy? Have you thought about it at all?
I have, and it's tough, right? Because there's no right answer. There's no wrong answer, because there's so many different levels of emotion that are, you know, that arise when we see things like this in our community, and it's really tough to approach. But I think for myself, it's going to come from a place of not fighting ignorance with anger.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, just like you, trying to enlighten, trying to, you know, spread knowledge, spread understanding. But really, there's no right answer. There's no right answer. But I do think we have to be really meticulous in how we express and deliver this to our kids, our youth, and so forth, because that affects the decisions they make later, that affects the things they do later, that affects so much. But I think a platform like this, and seeing you know, positive people of color doing things in their community and so forth. And also celebrating, you know, we also need to celebrate people of color a lot more and the things that they're doing, just so that we don't only shed awareness in our community, but also the others, right? To try and change the narrative in a sense. Because I think the work that has to be done and what you're saying, like explaining to our kids and our generations also needs to be explained to those generations. Yes. Right. So we have to find ways and a platform to share that as well. Because
right
not
here.
only do we not want to change the anger, but we want to change the ignorance.
100%. And
right?
this is part of this conversation that we're doing right now, right? This is it. And like I said to you when I asked you this morning, I said, I need a picture of you. And I could have easily hopped on the internet and grabbed pictures of you dunking and in your basketball uniform and all that shit. And I was like, no, not doing that. I want an image of you with your new journey, your new profession, showing that we don't just have to bounce a ball. And there's nothing wrong with playing basketball. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that.
That's been an amazing tool in my life. There's nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong with it. But we need to continue to let people know that that behavior and that mindset is not going to be tolerated, and we're going to be controlling our own narrative.
Yes.
And there's a question that someone posed, and I was going to go there anyway. Because of obviously this situation is blatant racism, white supremacists, not even systemic racism. This is just outright disgusting racist behavior. My mom this morning, I was trying to get off the phone before we got in here, and she was just going off. I was like, okay, mommy, I'll call you back. But she's very upset about it, and the whole world is. But when you were playing Michigan, overseas in Europe, did you experience any blatant racism? Obviously not to this nasty extent, but verbally with movements and actions. What was your experience with that?
You know what? And it's crazy that I have to say, fortunately, I actually never experienced anything like that. I think, you know, there's and I've seen it, but I've never experienced it. I'll say that, because I think also being North American, and although we're of color, we do have different customs, different norms. So I think, and also because I'm there playing, you know, a sport, it's easier to identify why I'm here, or people, or I'm going to wear this, the purpose I have. Yeah.
So you had value to them, basically, is what you're saying.
Yes, in a sense. Okay. So, but even that can be depending on how you receive it. Even that can be, you know, some form of prejudice or racism in a sense.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
Blatant to my face, no. But you know, people were excited to see me, get to know me, or whatever. But is that because of you were the basketball player, or is that because you are the black? Okay, now I'll be completely transparent. If I'm gonna say I experienced anything, it would have been females wanting to try black.
Okay, and I wanted to go there with you. I do, right. I really do, because you're a professional athlete, and everyone always has this notion that you are just, let's just use frank words, man whore, any gal come through, panty or fling off. Like, how do you experience that? Like, how do you deal with that? And again, you have a son. How are you going to teach him that, quote unquote, that's not the right way? Maybe you did it at the beginning of your career and you realize, you know what, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be just a male sex object or whatever you want to call it.
No, because no joke. Again, I think in our community we have too many, you know, single mothers, or even single fathers, and we don't grow up with that solid. And it's in a lot of communities, but I can speak on our own, like, and how obviously, you know, how we're represented in society, and things like, you know, we seen last Thursday, or was it Thursday?
We heard about it Tuesday, but it happened obviously in February.
We need to have a solid family foundation to teach our, you know, so that we can teach our kids that, you know, family is the way to go. That's foundation. Teach, you know, a woman can't teach a son how to be a man, and I can't teach,
absolutely not.
You know, Yep. I can't teach my daughter whenever that's going to be a woman, right? So, and again, like, I've had a past where I realize how much I've affected women in my life with, negligent acts and, foolishness. And that stuff's lasting, right? Like a lot of women and men, that they have things that they deal with from childhood, and some of the stuff that men may do or women may do that beats into that. So I don't want to be the person to teach my son to continue that, or because it's damaging, right? So being this athlete, this man whore, whatever the case may be, it's okay, it's cool, it's fun while it lasts. When you're young and you don't understand the effects that it has on somebody else or even yourself. So I definitely don't want that passed on to any of the youth in my family or any around.
That's real talk right there, man. That really is. And again, with our off, Oliver, you're right. Prince, you got to break the cycle.
He's a tremendous dad. He was coaching me the other night on, my son, and how to take care of him, how to giving me advice on how to take care of him and so forth. So Oliver's a great guy, great father.
OP is definitely a great dad out there, and you're right. Like, we really need to start showcasing things that we do in our community more so than the negative things that are continuously bombarded in the media and even with social media, because this is a good
place. This is a good place to start. I think it's a space where we can, and it's always going to be there, right? We don't have to, like, okay, I don't want to harp on this, but somebody like Tory Lanez, you have a platform, and I've seen a lot of these memes or whatever the case may be going around. It's cool, funny, this twerk challenge. You're pouring milk on women's asses and whatever the case may be. You're at a space where you can actually do what you do, have fun.
Yeah.
But also, like, shed some knowledge,
same shit, bro. It's the same shit, and I'm tired of it. And I'm going to try to do everything that I can within.
And it's not to say we're perfect, but
no, not at all. Nobody is. But it just can't be the same shit all the time. It can't. We got to change that storyline. And it starts with us. It really does. It really, really does. I wanted to ask you, and we talked about this offline in terms of the service area. Just going back to your new profession. Like, I didn't want to say that you're a first-time professional. I think you're a pro to a pro. Like, you're a professional athlete, and now you're a professional sales representative. Like, tell us about the area that you primarily work in. What type of things? What area? What type of real estate do you like selling? More condos, houses? Go into that field for us.
I'm residential. All residential. I do a lot more. Like, I've started where I actually started at. Is from an investment standpoint. I did a lot of investment in Durham, in the Durham region. So that was where I really got my start as far as clients and people I work with now. It's all of GTA. So that's where we're at now. And I know it's a really tough time right now, because obviously we're going through this pandemic. And, people have so many questions right now, and I think this is a good time, especially for, even in our community, to, just reach out, ask questions. And I think that's where, especially where real estate is concerned, we were never really taught, that this is historically how we gain wealth. You know what I'm saying? And there's just so many opportunities. There's everything is out there for us. All the resources out there for us. And, I think we need to reach out more, ask questions. And I'm always available. And if I can't be, of help, then I always have, somebody that can direct you to for resources and whatever you need. I mean, the other night I had a live, which was tremendous. We spoke about, because over the time I realized there's a lot of questions on debt. There's a lot of questions on what are mortgage, just understanding the basics, because a lot of people we don't know the basics, right? So, and it was great. Like, people came in, asked questions, and we're talking about the simplest of questions, but we all have those same questions.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, I don't come from a sales standpoint. I'm not here to pressure anybody. I'm more, I want to help. I'm here to help as opposed to, I'm That's why when you ask me, what is that? Am I a salesman? No, but
nah, you don't like that word.
I'm here to help you. Yeah.
So 3 questions with regards to that. Number 1, when people DM, call you, email you, do you charge them for your time? Is it completely complimentary, these questions that they can ask you?
Absolutely free. It's all free. I mean, I would love, in the end, I'd love to work together, and obviously, you know, once I really lay out what I do and provide you with the information, you'll see that you've learned a lot. And once you've learned a lot now, you have enough comfort. And for me, it's all about comfort. If you're comfortable with me, let's do this together, because I want to guide you into the right situation. I don't want to sell you on the $700,000, $800,000 home when that's not the best home for you. You know, for your situation, that's not the best. Let's get you in something that's manageable for you and right for you and your family, and then, you know, go from there. Let's work towards, in stages, the next home, second home, then, you know, we get your dream home. Like, I'm obviously, okay, if I sell somebody $1 million home up front or $800,000 home, that's great for me. That's commission for me. But at the same time, I put you in a predicament, right?
So it's
all about building rapport.
Yeah, I don't like stereotypes, but let's just be real. Where within our community, something that you just touched upon, in terms of us really trying to live for the Joneses rather than live within our means. So someone like you just said is looking to purchase a home with you. You know how much I make because I have to give you my bank statements, and I'm making $60,000. But like you said, I want to buy $1 million house.
You know what? I'm going to stop there too, because that's also, as a real estate agent, I don't have to meddle in that as much, because that's in the lane of, and I like to stay away from that, because there's also some people are prideful, right? Especially when you're working with people in your community that you know.
Yes. Let's just be honest.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I'm
cut that shit out.
There's that pride. There's that, because everybody is, you know, doing better than they are. They don't realize.
Yeah, freeze up.
You know, a lot of people have the similar situations. Yeah, I think hold on, let me put the charger in.
No worries.
Yeah, so everybody has similar situations. For me, it's now all that financial stuff. Let's get you with one of the best lenders, somebody that I trust, or you know, somebody that I work with closely, or if you have somebody. But as far as, you know, the home now, let me educate you on, you know, areas, pricing, what you're going to get here, the quality of, you know, what you're looking for as well.
I think it's super important that, and you said it, like you actually care about